a few things have allowed me to be very, very clear on a lot of my non-negotiables, whether it's with people around me, whether it's with the kids, whether it's with myself. Clearing out part of the business, clearing out certain things that were no longer working for my brain health, which is my number one priority and my non-negotiable. When that starts getting affected, that's when things I know need to change. Welcome to Declutter For Change podcast. I'm your host, Heather Clark, and on today's episode, we are talking about non-negotiables. This is the fourth episode and the fourth letter in the word change, which is the basis of Declutter For Change and what this whole podcast, what the business is all about, and what is currently happening right now. Change. The entire globe as a whole is changing. This is why it is very important for you to understand what your non-negotiables are. And in order to do that, you need to know and you need to start clearing out stuff that doesn't fit what you want moving forward. One of the ways that I have figured this out, or it has been figured out for me in a way, thanks universe, is doing too much all at once. So trying to do too much, trying to make myself thinner in my abilities and thinking I have all the time in the world to do all the things and do everything. What my non-negotiable I figured about a week or two ago now is I needed to cut off some arms of the business, the online business. And with that brought some very interesting conversations with a few past clients. And it has been a very interesting conversation because of the fact that I set my non-negotiables up. And I basically was trying to explain, okay, this is what's happening. And I didn't explain as much personal stuff because they didn't need to know that. They need to know that, yes, this didn't get done, or yes, this did get done. This is what's happening moving forward. So my non-negotiables were I needed my mental health to be at top rate. And I realized as I was adding more and more onto my plate, thinking this is what I needed to do, this is what I had to do, my brain health, let's call it that, because I actually like that term better. I forget where I heard it, but I like the brain health part of this. So my brain health was being affected. I had to sit down with myself and have some serious self-conversations and realize that part of my business that yes, even though it was making the money, my brain health was being affected because the expectations were much bigger than what was set out at the very beginning of the contracts. I basically had to sit down with myself and basically say, no, this is not doing you any good. This is one of your non-negotiables that you are even breaking for yourself. Like you said, your brain health was top priority. And I wasn't even listening to myself and my own rules and my own non-negotiables. So I had to do that. And then, of course, this major outbreak has come through. And a few things have allowed me to be very, very clear on a lot of my non-negotiables, whether it's with people around me, whether it's with the kids, whether it's with myself. Clearing out part of the business, clearing out certain things that were no longer working for my brain health, which is my number one priority and my non-negotiable. When that starts getting affected, that's when things I know need to change. And it's hard. And then also recently finding out that my work has even changed and my schedule with that has changed. So many unknowns are out there. I know that my non-negotiables are my brain health. So how can I make that healthier? How do I make that my priority in everything that's happening right now? Well, I know the first thing that I do is I calm down. Seriously, step back and understand that this is happening for a reason. that it's time for us to step up as humanity and to start helping each other no matter what is happening. Yes, of course, this is scary that there are so many people that are just not doing well with this change. And yet here I am, and I'm okay with it. And the only reason why I'm okay with it is because I've had to change so much in my past to get to this point, to be able to lead you through this change, through this global change, through your personal change, through your family's change, all that stuff. And literally, this is what the podcast and my business is about, because I'm helping you declutter for the change that is here, the change that is going to continue, the change that is forever. Because guess what? If you're not changing, you're not growing. And we all want to grow. And if you want to stay where you are, if you're comfortable, then guess what? That's fine too. That's up to you if you have the comfort levels of that. But I'm pretty sure those who are listening to this podcast really do want that change. And they really do want to grow. They want to grow as a family, they want to grow as an individual, and they want to grow as a collective. So in order for that to happen, you need to know what your non-negotiables are. What are you not willing to give up? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to go in life? Because now is the time. We've got time. We've got time to sit back, to relax, to calm down. It's a time to go within yourself, to go within your family and talk about it as a family. How many adults don't know what's going on because one's on one shift, one's on the next shift, and the only time they see each other is maybe on weekends. Now you get to sit down and say, hey, what are our non-negotiables moving forward? What do we really, really want out of life? What do we really, really want out of this house that we live in, or this apartment, or this area, or this wherever you are? What do we want out of our relationship with each other? What are we not willing to negotiate on? Are we willing to let go of stuff, physical stuff, that no longer is part of our moving forward? So what better time than to declutter your physical space? Which, by the way, just to let you know, once you start decluttering your physical space, the emotions and the mental stuff will come through. Guaranteed. Well, that's just where we start, because it is so much more than just the physical clutter. When it gets to the physical clutter, it just means that the mental and emotional stuff has been bottled up and we haven't allowed it to come through, that it starts coming through our physical areas. Whether that's your car, whether it's your desk, whether it's your bedroom, your home as a whole, wherever it is, that physical stuff is just a collection of the emotional and mental stuff. And of course, everyone has it right now. Do not feel as if you should feel bad about it. We all have the physical clutter. We all have the emotional clutter, and we all have the mental clutter. It's now, as a collective, we need to band together and clear it out and move forward with our non-negotiables. What are we not willing to give up? Okay? You don't want to give up let's say it's the physical stuff. You don't want to give up the heirlooms that your grandparents or your great-great-grandparents or your parents or whoever have given you. Great. I'm not telling you to give it up. What I'm telling you is you need to honor it. If it's stuck in the back of a closet, or if you've piled it up with a bunch of junk, that is not honoring it whatsoever. Just know that once you start clearing out your physical space, you're gonna have to start clearing out your emotional and your mental space. It's okay if you have meltdowns. It's okay if you have the ugliest of cries that you start doing. Remember, I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, crying so much that you start doing like the hyperventilating kind of thing. It's okay if you're doing that, even as an adult, if kids are doing that, because that's still energy in motion, which is the emotional part. It's clearing that out. It's allowing yourself to go, okay, yes, we're in this situation right now. How can we move forward? And what are the steps, the next step? Don't think about the whole thing as a whole, because man, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. Think about it what is my next best step? And your next best step could be just clearing your desk off. Okay, you did that. Now sit with it, be proud that you did that, and then maybe move on to something else. If you can only do 5-10 minutes a day, by all means, that's all you need to do. If you can go, forget it, I am so done with all this clutter, and you want to do like hours worth of it, then by all means do that as well. Go put some music on, go make it upbeat, go do whatever that will allow you to get it done. Because as much as we talk about things, nothing changes until we do something about it. As a collective, we can move forward and be closer to where we are and where we want to go and not have the clutter get in our way. That is that for this episode. Next episode is the G in change, which stands for growth. You can find everything in the show notes at www.declutterforchange.com/non-negotiable. Until next time, be safe, hug your loved ones even harder, be happy, and breathe. Thank you.